recognize that if we have full employment, we no longer have to pay for unemployment insurance or all the other kinds of costs that, in a sense, we have to bear when people are indigent and their families are suffering. Because here we'll have people that are able to fend for themselves and be independent. On the other hand, if we are going to pay fair wages, there will be a cost, but this can easily be raised by having fair taxation that shifts the burden to the most affluent. And one huge area.
Well, the top 1% are paying about 45–50% of the taxes now. What would you have them pay?
Well, the 1% in our country control as much wealth as the bottom 90%. That comes to almost $40 trillion. And the wealth itself is not really being taxed. We could have a 1 to 2% tax on the top 1%. And that would be sufficient to put to work everyone who is unemployed. And that would not only put them to work, it would increase economic growth. Because here we would have the maximum consumer demand. They're adding to our public goods that themselves help economic development. So it's really a win-win situation.
Now you understand,
it's pro-business. It's not
Richard,
something detracting from business.
Richard Winfield, congressional candidate, up against Greg, but really quickly, you understand the Republican philosophy, that, and we just saw it espoused when the tax cut that was approved, the tax bill that was approved by the House and Senate, the president's tax proposal here. The general idea, and it hasn't changed, JFK was a proponent of this, certainly Ronald Reagan, George W. Bush, others along the way. The idea that I keep more money in my pocket as a wage earner. You reduce my taxes, I spend that money, I create economic activity, I create jobs by the buying and creating demand, by purchasing, by being a consumer. I create jobs. You lower the tax rate, the theory goes, you broaden the tax base and create more taxpayers. That's the Republican philosophy. That's Jody Hice's philosophy.
Well, let me show you the real situation. Because, first of all, when we have unemployment, which we have on a mass scale, there are millions of people who are unemployed or underemployed. They have no buying power. They're not in a position to throw money into the economy and generate jobs. On the other hand, since 1973, wages have stagnated as the economy continues to grow. The economy has continued to grow at half the rate it did between 1945 and 1973, when wages rose lockstep with economic growth and productivity increases. And because wages have stagnated, wages have become a smaller and smaller portion of the national income, and all the wealth going to the top, instead of being reinvested and allowing economic growth, is sitting in idle financial hoards instead of being put to productive use. If we are able to ensure that wages raise with productivity levels, then much more of our national income will be thrown back in the economy. Because we, the 90%, have to spend much more of our earnings, and that goes back into the economy. That's why the economy grew at twice the rate it has since 1973. Because wages did rise with productivity. Everyone could benefit from our rising prosperity, and most of us did.